I had a lady call me from Spokane yesterday. She said, we can provide 100 to 200 hot meals. And I said, well, we don't, we have that covered. And then she said, we also have a mobile shower unit where people can take showers. And I had one of those eureka moments where I'm like, I would have never thought about that.
When you and I think about outreach to people experiencing homelessness, our first thought probably isn't about people left homeless by a wildfire. But that's exactly what happened in the small town of Malden, Washington on Monday the 7th of September 2020, when a fire, started by a downed power line and driven by high winds, destroyed 80% of their town of 200 people, leaving them homeless with little more than the clothes on their backs. Hotspots, like the grain elevator in nearby Pine City, were still burning and smoldering when we arrived 2 days after the fire with an outreach team from Jules Helping Hands. Today's outreach started with a phone conversation with a local pastor, offering him help for his community. His church became today's first stop, but definitely not the last.
If you want to follow them,
follow this
it's
car.
going to the community center.
After a quick discussion, the decision was made for the outreach team to head over to the local community center to coordinate activities and drop off supplies. The local community center quickly became the community command center for outreach. People experiencing homelessness from a fire need the same things people made homeless by an eviction need: clothes, food, showers, and life's basic necessities. And meeting those needs requires outreach.
Also, we have a truckload of taco meat. If anybody needs any, we're going to take a bunch up there, but we have 30,000 pounds.
There were supplies to be unloaded and organized, clothes to be sorted, needs lists to be compiled and reviewed, and thousands of pounds of food to coordinate. The residents of fire-ravaged Malden were still in shock when we arrived. When the shock wears off, they would need everything from food to clothes and toiletries. And outreach teams like this one would be ready to serve them.
We are showering, bringing up the mobile showers. We brought up 2 carloads of clothing and supplies. We are doing it because the folks here have lost everything and we have the items that they need. Why would we not bring them out here to them? I know that our showers are mostly used for people struggling with homelessness, but these guys are struggling with homelessness now. And watching what they're doing between these churches is amazing. That's what we do. We build communities, and this is community right here. Friends and neighbors helping each other.
Back at the church, what had been the fellowship hall and food pantry was quickly being transformed into a staging area for relief supplies, with needs for specific items being reviewed. And the volunteers making it all happen stopped long enough to share their thoughts on recent events.
Malden is a town about 6 miles away from here, and Pine City is close to that, and it burned too. So they had a big fire, like 80% of the town burned. So most of the residents, they had to leave moment's notice, last minute's notice, no warning. The fire was very fast. They came up here to Roselia. Everybody in Roselia put people in their homes. We had people feeding people. There was a meeting in town this morning with folks to try to get some things organized and find out how many people are actually homeless, what the ages are of those people, so we know what to give to people properly. My phone has not stopped.
I know that our job from here on out is going to be very challenging because we'll be working with kids that have already been traumatized by the COVID, let alone what else has gone on in their life outside of that, and this on top of it. There is a huge amount of trauma for these kids.
We had a family come in yesterday with some teenagers, and I think they were just in shock, because like you were saying, they didn't even know what they needed. They're staying with people, so they're being taken care of, but they literally had the clothes on their backs. And the teenagers, they just came in, they just said, if we could just get some underwear, we'd be happy, because they don't even have a change of underwear. And it just broke my heart. It's very hard to see. Yeah.
Back in Malden, what had been a firefighter base camp in the center of town was being transformed into a base camp for relief efforts. That's where we caught up with Chuck Prusak, the on-site representative for American Red Cross Disaster Services. He'd arrived the day before with some of the first outreach help for a community in shock.
We have some cooks that cook some meals, and they just package them in those to-go containers. You can hand them out, the firefighters can eat, the people can eat, you know.
I went to McDonald's and spent $731
Oh my gosh!
of Red Cross money. They said it was their largest order they'd ever had.
As we finished our conversation with the Red Cross and headed to view the destruction in Pine City, more outreach help began arriving. The next couple of days would see a parade of politicians, officials, dignitaries, and the media. But today, it's all about serving a community still in shock, offering them showers, clothes, and even cheeseburgers with fries. Welcome to Outreach.
When we got word of what was happening, we opened the doors immediately, and I just didn't know what was going to take place, but we start out with step one. The door's open. If anybody lost their home, if you need someplace to go, we have food. We're available. Let's see what goes from there. And so we started getting immediately, people would see on the news what was happening, and they started contacting the church. How could we help? And donations started coming in. Another church downtown, the Assembly of God Church, did the same thing, and they have vast resources through their association. They've opened their doors, and we've been working in tandem, hand in hand with them. And so we've been collecting donations. The response has been phenomenal, nothing like I've seen before. People are driving in from many miles away and just bringing everything and calling nonstop. What can we bring? What do you need? So in a large sense, what we are is just, and the other church down the road, just a clearinghouse. People are bringing in their donations. They're doing the giving. They're doing the sacrificing, and they need a central place to bring it. They're bringing it, and we're sorting it, dividing it, and then people have a need. They come in and say, look, we've lost everything. We've got 2 little children. We need this. We need diapers. We need whatever. And then whatever we have, we give them that they need. And then at the same time, people are calling here and say, what do you need? And so we're taking the information from people. Do you have this? Do you have that? Winter's coming on. We need coats. We need blankets. We have this. So then we have the information, and all of us, like I said, in town are working together on this. It's not us. It's about them. And then the town is taking the information, and so we're like, okay, we're getting word that we need this, we need that. And so when people call and say, what can we do? Well, we're finding out we need diapers. We need pet food. The ladies are calling and say, I have no scrunchie. I have no hair clip. I have no brush. I don't have a comb. We don't have cell phone chargers, So we just take that information, spray around, say this is what we need, and let folks know. And the donations are coming in, and then we just distribute it. And that's what we're doing. You've got a city of 200 people. 80% of it's burnt down. These folks don't have their home anymore. There's 2 or 3 days they're spread out. They're staying with different folks. The area, because of the windstorm, many hundreds of people have lost electricity, and a basic shower. I would have never thought about it. It just like the hair combs I had mentioned earlier. Women, cell phone chargers, the things you just would have never thought about it. So the important thing that I'm learning is not just telling people what they need and what I have for them, but actually listening to them, because they're going through it and they know I don't know what they need because I've never been through it. But to be quiet and to listen and to gently ask, what do I need? And when it comes to the heart, no need is too small. What's important to me or what's not important to me might be very important to them. And I'm here to serve what they need, not what I think they need.
As Pastor Dwayne described so well, outreach is about discovering and serving the needs of others, rather than our own needs. Outreach is about listening and responding during some of life's most challenging times. And it's the way we as individuals and as a community express our compassion toward those in need and assist them on their journey back to wholeness and shalom.